What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Second Passport. Today we're going to cover the value of getting the Ecuadorian second passport if you are a North American who maybe moves here as an expat, right? A lot of people are deterred from getting the Ecuador second passport like I did, hence the name Mr. Second Passport, because of the requirement of actually having to live here for 3 years. But if you're already here, you might as well get it. But a lot of people don't see the value in it. Well, I'm going to show you the value today, and maybe, just maybe, you change your mind about getting it. So let's talk about valuing something for a second. Be it a business in the form of maybe a publicly traded company or stock, or a property or real estate, right? For me, it seems that I spend most of my day often valuing properties and businesses. Like that's pretty much all I do lately, especially since the pandemic. And for me, there's 3 basic ways to value business based on the past, present, and future. Let me give you an example, right? So the past value is basically, like for a property, is what you have in it, right? What you have in the property, what you've invested in it, right? For a stock, it might be, for me personally, I look at the historical value of the PE, or the price to earnings ratio, and see if right now, based on the recent past, if the stock is a good deal or not, based on that. And that's kind of how I value a stock view based on the present and the past, right? As far as present value, it's basically, for a property, it'd be basically, what someone else would pay for it, what other people are paying for it, right? It's the main way Ecuadorians who don't have an MLS system to gauge on, they kind of hear what the neighbors are selling for, and that's what they ask, right? So what someone else is willing to pay for it. When it comes to a stock, you might look at something like I do anyway, the return on equity of a company based on the return on equity and the margins, the profit margins based against its competitors, its most close competitor, and see how the company's doing, right? To kind of value it and see if it's a good deal to buy or not, right? Because we're not just looking for good deals, we're not just looking for good companies or good properties, but we're looking for good priced good properties or good companies, right? So, and as far as the future value goes, right, for property, it might be the rents that the property will bring into you, your ROI, right, your return on equity, based on over the next few years. How quickly are you going to, get your payback, get your money back out of the property, right? That's kind of a future way to value property. And maybe for a stock, of course, even there's an equation that you can do to, take the free cash flows and discount them back to the present and see if the stock is a good value or not. Right now, for today's point, what I'm going to talk about is the present value, because obviously of getting an Ecuadorian passport, because you can't obviously sell it to someone else, right? So it doesn't have necessarily commercial value, but it has value to you based on what other people are currently paying for a second passport, right? So let's look at a few figures and see what people are actually paying right now, entering 2022, for a second passport, maybe for banking reasons or for travel reasons, right? And let's value the Ecuadorian passport, right, to give you an idea. Okay, first let's take a look at the Grenada passport, right? There are several countries, primarily in the Caribbean, like Grenada, a small island in the Eastern Caribbean, that are willing to literally sell you their passport and hence their citizenship, right? So once you get citizenship in a second country, you can then get their passport. Like Grenada has a program where people are paying $150,000 for their passport. Why? Why do they pay that? If they're from North America, right, an American or a Canadian, possibly, if you're rich and have the money for it, to drop $150,000 on it for a passport that maybe will get you visa-free access to places like Russia and China, especially if you have a lot of business over there, right? And most of South America. Okay, most, not Paraguay, and it looks like you still need to pay for that $100 visa to Bolivia as well. Now, a different Caribbean country, St. Lucia, I say St. Lucia, right, because I kind of speak Spanish. So St. Lucia offers a program where you can go and buy a passport, fill out some paperwork, pay the money, and in a few months you can get their second passport for $100,000. But look at the countries, according to Wikipedia, where you can travel to visa-free. Obviously, you can travel to Europe, but who cares if you already have an American or Canadian passport? Because you can travel to Europe with that for visa-free. And very interestingly, no Russia visa-free, no China, and even no Brazil visa-free. So it's a very limited passport you get for $100,000. Okay? Now if we take a look at the Ecuadorian, there it is, the Ecuadorian second passport, you get not only visa-free, but unlimited, just with your ID card, access to all of South America with the Ecuadorian passport. So it even beats the Grenada passport we just saw, right? For $150,000. Plus, you get Russia and China, right? And a few other countries that these other passports, Grenada and St. Lucia, don't offer, like Belarus. Don't laugh. I was very near Belarus once in Vilnius, Lithuania, and it's a pretty cool region of the world. Now, if you take a look at where us American citizens can go, visa-free, right? Bolivia and Paraguay, we have to pay for a visa to get in. Most of South America, except Venezuela, obviously. No Belarus, no Russia, no Iran, and no China, right? But Ecuadorians, right, they can go to Iran also with a paying for a small amount for a visa. And you have China and Russia and Belarus visa free, and even places like Venezuela. Not saying you'd want to go there now, but maybe in the future. You never know if the place comes up. It used to be really nice in the 70s. I wasn't around, but I'm told it was a paradise. International, a lot of international people having a great time in Venezuela. Venezuela, if it did ever come around, I'd say it even has more potential than a place like Ecuador. I mean, you have Caribbean beaches and the Andean mountains and the Amazon. It would be a pretty neat place if they ever got the politics straightened out. Looking at the Ecuador passport and then the American passport, you can see the maps one after the other. Ecuador, America. Ecuador, America. You can see how they complement themselves quite nicely, giving you a lot more travel options. Even Turkey, it seems like they charge American citizens, but not Ecuadorians, visa free. So little places like that, it makes it very interesting. So I would value, to answer this question of the day, the Ecuador passport at least around, say, $150,000 of value to you. What you get, not what you pay, because the Ecuadorian passport, you only have to pay $800 at the end of the process, right? So you apply after about a little over 2 years of living here, you can, and then once you complete the third year, it takes about a year, the whole application process, so it'll be about 3.5 years until you get the Ecuador passport, but you only have to live here for the 3 years. Then you can leave and come back when they call you back for the interview process. But I would value the Ecuador passport really even higher than $150, but I'll give it, because it's even better than the Grenada passport, as I've just shown, but I'll give it $160,000 value to you, to someone who gets the Ecuador passport, right? For you personally. Based on present value of what other people are paying for similar but not equal passports, because the Ecuador passport beats it. So anyway, I'm Mr. Second Passport. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button below and ring the bell next to the button in order to be notified of more videos just like this. Take care.